Hello, welcome back to the Evolution of Mom. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a beautiful holiday season and a great New Year's. I am so excited to be bringing in the new year with an episode dedicated to just that. It has been a very busy season for us in this household, and I've been writing things for this episode over the last few days, and I actually wrote them down because it's been so busy. And I like to make sure that the things that I write down in the moment as I think of them for this podcast are with me when I need them sometimes. And today I'm absolutely going to need them because I want to make sure you get what I wrote down. Does that make sense? I feel like it makes sense. So if you see me, if you're on the YouTube where you're looking at me, I have totally written notes down on my phone. And I wanted to really dive into this whole new year, new you. It's a great slogan. It is. But what if we took it as, yes, it's a new year. And what if we love what's already there? And how can we enhance it and grow it even further? How can I grow into a better version of myself that's already really great? How can I evolve into the next level of myself? Right? So many things are thrown at us where we're not good enough. But what if you are? And what if you're good enough as you, the individual, instead of you wanting to be like Sharon, like Susie, like Bob? I don't know. But we have one of those in the world. What if we chose to make this time about evolving what's already there? That's my goal. I want to enhance all of my gifts that I have that I know are ready to serve this world. And this last year has taught me so much about what that is. I've learned to create habits. I have learned to be consistent and all the tools that come along with creating success in those ways of habits and growth. I have learned boundaries. Did I say that already? Boundaries was a huge one to my growth this year. And I wanted to compile a little list of what I have found to be key components of growth and evolution of oneself. And the first one I want to talk about is consistency. It's not like a super sexy word, but it is one of the greatest words when it comes to changing your habits and changing your life. Consistency creates new habits, creates new pathways in your brain. It creates a new, I'm going to use air quotes here, you. Do you do what you're doing or want to do consistently? If you are reaching for something that you can't do consistently every day or don't want to do consistently every day, how can you reframe it? How can you break it down into maybe even a smaller step to get you to that next step that you can do consistently once you've done this step? Consistency is key. And I'm pretty sure I've done an episode on that in the past, but pick something when you're thinking of your goals for the year, thinking of your desired outcomes and breaking it back. Think backwards, right? Have your desired outcome and break it down backwards. What are things you can do that are small, consistent actions every day? Daily actions. Consistency builds over time. Never underestimate the compound effect, honestly. Now, another one is simplicity. I'm not saying that you have to have a simplistic goal. I'm saying make the goal you have simply set up. Simply set up for success, set up for success. Make it simpler for you with your thing. So for me, I love getting up and doing yoga first thing in the morning. And that was a habit that I had to create over time. I had to get up a few minutes earlier, pick something that was a little more simplistic for me in my yoga practice. And what helped me to create a more simplistic way of doing that was to make sure it was set up the night before. Because if I knew I had to roll out of bed, get my water, set up my mat, find my thing, it was too many steps. But if I can just roll out of bed, have everything set up. I would have my mat set out. I would have my water set out. I already know which yoga thing I'm going to do. That makes it easier. See how many steps you can simplify to getting what you want to do. If you're looking to, let's say, meditate for the new year or listen to something motivational every day, make sure it is not something that you have to click on your phone a million times for. Like 2 clicks, more than 2 clicks, and it's too complicated. You're not going to do it as easily as if it were just like opening Instagram and scrolling, right? We know that's really easy to do and do quickly. So we do it. So, how can you simplify what your goal is, what your daily tasks are? How can you make them easier on you to get done? Even if the task itself is challenging, what can you do to simplify it? Now, accountability is a really big one. Accountability is actually very challenging to have with ourselves if we are not used to keeping promises to ourselves. So have accountability. Tell people around you what it is that you're doing. Tell your loved ones, tell your kids. Oh my goodness, kids love to keep you accountable. Mommy, I thought you said you weren't doing that. Mommy, did you do your thing? Mommy, your yoga mat's out. Have you done it yet today? I've had that one before, quite a bit. They've gotten up, they see that I'm not on the mat right when they get up. Mommy, did you do your yoga? And there's been mornings where I'm going to be honest, I got distracted and I didn't do it. And I was like, no, but I'm going to do it now. Want to guys like do it with me? Accountability is so great. Having a community is also really great. And I'm actually going to touch on something in that at the end, but get some accountability. Tell someone what you're doing. Sustainability. How sustainable is this for you? Are you saying, okay, I'm going to have a morning routine? I'm used to waking up at 8, but tomorrow I'm waking up at 5. That is not sustainable. Cutting your hours like that of sleep is not sustainable. How can you break that goal down to something that is going to be sustainable over time that you can build on consistently? If you want to get up earlier in the morning, you've heard me say this a million times. If you listen to this podcast, start with 15 minutes. Set yourself up for success. Start with 15 minutes. Do that for a week. Do another 15 minutes. Maybe jump to a half hour the next week, see how it goes. But if you're beat by midweek, take it back up those 15 minutes. You want to help yourself create success. So make sure that you're doing something that is sustainable. Positive changes and positive mindset towards a change. It is easier to achieve a goal if you have a positive outlook on it. For example, I used to try and hate my body healthy. I was so sick and I was in such chronic pain all the time. And what I have been through on my health journey is very extensive. And I used to just hate it. I hated my body. I hated everything that came along with what I should be doing for it. And to switch that mindset, I actually needed to love my body. I didn't need to like be in love with what it was, but I needed to love myself enough that I was willing to take the steps and do what I needed to do to make change. I needed to love myself so much that I wanted to make those physical, mental, and all the things that came along with it changes. We will always lean towards something that is positive. We will always find a way to lean in. So how can you shift your goal to have a positive spin on it? Weight loss is a good example. You can't hate your body skinny. You're always going to find a way to push away from that somehow. You'll push towards it for a bit, but it won't feel congruent. So you'll find ways to step back, and that's where that yo-yoing comes in. But how can you find a way to be so grateful for the body you have, to love the body you have now? And I'm not saying you have to be in love with the shape of it or your pain or those kind of things, but to dive into an understanding of how can I love myself healthy? The body you have is the only one you have. It works and shows up for you every day. My perspective changed when I realized that my body was doing the best it could do with what I was giving it. which wasn't very many positive things. How could I shift that? How can you shift that for yours? Are you working towards something because you hate something? You dislike it so much. It's such a problem for you. How can you switch it into something that's a positive? Just that mental switch is just like a few words, even sometimes. Just switch that narrative so that it's something you want to lean towards because it feels expansive and joyous. Now, you all know I love hormones. I love having our body work for us, right? Again, that your body is only doing what you give it. It's also like your body has amazing systems in it that can really help you set yourself up for success. Your hormone dopamine, which maybe from now on is going to be called hormone, to shorten it. Your hormone dopamine is a great tool to utilize when you're chasing goals and creating new habits. Dopamine is key for motivation. Finding a way to, again, find joy in what you're doing is going to spike that dopamine. And when you find a way to help you attach joy to whatever it is that you're doing, it's going to give you motivation in a way that the anticipation of something that you're joyous and excited about is enough to have enough of a dopamine spike in your body to actually motivate you to do the thing. You don't necessarily need to do the thing to have that joyous dopamine response. For example, I went on a very cold walk today. I have a list of things that I'm going to be doing over the next little while called my, aligned growth list. And one of them is to make sure I'm moving my body every day and I'm getting outside every day. So I decided to, kill two birds with one stone on that one and go for a very cold winter walk. It is hella cold here where I live and it was windy today. And oh my goodness, but I looked at it as one, I get to go for a walk with my friend. And we're going to talk about a lot of great things we have going on right now. And we needed to hash some stuff out for our business too. The sun was shining. I got to get out into nature. I haven't been outside as much over the last little bit because it has been so cold. You know what? Today was a little bit warmer. So I got myself excited to go outside instead of sitting there being like, oh, it's cold. I don't want to take my slippers off and I don't want to get out of my heated blanket. Don't get me wrong. I had like a moment of that. But because I have these tools that I'm sharing with you now, I was able to, okay, how can I shift this so that I can get motivated to go and make this a joyous experience? I know I'm going to feel good afterwards. I know getting out into nature makes me happy. It changes my whole mood. I know moving my body at the end of the day, I feel a lot better than if I hadn't. So many narrative switches were able to happen in that moment that I could be excited to get motivated to go on my walk. So using dopamine as a motivator is actually a really great tool. Find a way to bring joy and get excited about it, because that right there, right even before you do the action, is enough of a dopamine spike to help you be motivated to actually physically do it, which I think is really cool. Now, adding in positive change instead of taking something away. So like with diets, for example, diets are always a good one. It's very restrictive to all of a sudden cut a bunch of things out, right? There's a reason we, have these deep cravings and we dive back into binging and things. It's because we've told our brain, you can't have that anymore. We're not doing that. Okay, if that doesn't work for you, maybe you are, and this isn't for everybody. Some people can quit cold turkey on things, no problem, or stop for a certain amount of time, right? Some of us, I'm raising my hand here, can't with certain things. I struggle with that deeply. So having these different mental tricks and different narratives to tell myself around it have been so helpful. When I knew I needed to add more hormone supporting foods into my body and taking certain things out, it was actually easier to add the things in first. Adding squash, adding deep leafy greens was another one. I know that I wanted to add more food that was targeted to my goals of my health. It was easier to add them in. And once you add them in and you actually start feeling better, it's easier to make choices to take things out. And when you are taking things out, tell yourself you're going on a holiday. Not that you're going on a holiday, that you're taking a holiday from these things. Not that it's out of your life forever, but I'm just taking a little holiday, a little break from this. It's not gone forever. These little tools, they just trick your brain in to doing it. And habit stacking is another one. So habit stacking, and it's called the temptation bundle too. So habit stacking is, for example, if you want to have a gratitude practice and you want to do it every day and you just want to spend a few minutes on it, or you want to do affirmations every day and you just want to spend a few minutes on them, put the affirmations on your mirror or have that moment of gratitude every day while you brush your teeth. Brushing your teeth is a habit that you already have that you do every day. I hope that's one you do every day. Adding in something to what you're already doing is a really great way. So I love doing little mini gratitude practices when I'm brushing my teeth, or your affirmations. This is a really good example. How can you stack something that you want to continue or you want to do that's new with something you're already habitually doing? It's called habit stacking. The other one is called a temptation bundle. Do the thing you need to do before you do the thing you want to do. You want to scroll on Facebook, but you also want to do more squats. When you pick up your phone, do 10 squats, then look at your Facebook. You're kind of rewarding yourself for doing that little thing. And you're telling yourself you can't do the thing you want to do before you do the thing you need to do. How can you stack those as well? Just little things to help create success. I like the habit stacking one a lot. The temptation bundle is one that you need to do a little more thinking on, but it is worth doing. Like, I make sure before I Netflix and chill at the end of the night, I have my list of things I needed to get done that day done, because once I Netflix and chill, it's bedtime, right? I'm going to watch a show and then I'm going to want to go to bed because now I'm tired and I don't want to get up and do the things that I hadn't done yet that day. So I make sure I check my list first. And typically it's like maybe an extra half hour of doing something. No big deal. And then I can Netflix and chill and go to bed. A big thing that I want you to consider for this year, and it's something we talked about a lot over this last year in the podcast, but is continuing to recognize and release what isn't serving you. If you're trying to build all these new habits and enhance your life and grow yourself into the highest version of yourself, you have to let some stuff go. I know in an early on episode, we'd use the butterfly tied to a rock as an example. The butterfly is capable of flying, but not if it's tied to this little rock that's weighing it down. Cut those strings, let it go. Do evaluations, even do them quarterly, do them monthly, do them weekly if you need to. Whatever it is, to just start really realizing what isn't serving you and what is causing you to go the opposite direction of where you're really trying to go. You're the butterfly, cut the rocks. There's lots of exercises you can do along that, but honestly, just making a list of all the things that stress you out is a really good tool to do, because you'll start to see that a lot of those things are either out of your control, so you can't really worry about them anyways, or they're little things that you're spending too much time on. It's taking up too much real estate in your brain. How can you let that go so it can just go away? Really good ways to move forward is to let stuff go. Asking yourself the right questions. How you guys doing? I'm like doing on my list here. Because don't mind, I'm reading from my list, but these things I really wanted to not forget and remember. But picking the things and then asking yourself the right questions. For example, what would a healthy person choose? Is a really good question to ask yourself when you have health goals and you're faced with decisions. What would a healthy person choose in this moment? So pick your goal and start to envision what that person is, who that person is, embody that person and make your choices from there. You don't have to get there to make those choices. What if you were to embody the person that you want to be before you're already there to help get you there faster, right? Is this aligned with my goals and who I am becoming? That's when I ask myself quite a bit. Is this aligned with my goals right now and who I am becoming? I have a lot of even just short-term goals right now that are taking a lot of my time and energy. And so when I find myself swaying into other avenues, or when I get invited to something, is this aligned with my goals, or is this taking away from what I need to be doing right now? That's been a really helpful question. Is this aligned with my goals and who I am becoming? I talk to you guys a lot about having discussions with yourself in your head. This is a really good way to do it. Ask yourself questions. Do it. Pick the goal, embody what that person is going to be. What choices does that person make? What choices does a healthy person make? What choices does a person who makes $10,000 a month, if you're not at that income level yet, what choices are they making? Those are the choices I want to be making now, because that's what's going to help me get there. And I believe that you can too. Now, I want you to celebrate. Celebrate every time you do something that takes you a step towards that goal. I'm not talking once you hit the goal. I'm not talking like even a major midway, what's the word I'm looking for? Milestone. Obviously celebrate at those moments too, but I'm talking like the little things. You brushed your teeth and did your gratitude practice. Have a little moment with yourself of, yes, I did that thing. I said I was going to do it and I did it. I'm amazing. I'm awesome. Look at me go. Those little things matter. You're teaching your brain to like to win, even when it's hard. One, you can do hard things. I believe in you. But after I did my walk today, it wasn't easy. It was cold. We go up through a flight of stairs on this walk, on this route that we do. The wind had blown so much, the stairs were covered in snow, and you could just see like the little edges of the stairs. And I looked up at it and I was like, okay, I can do hard things. And up we went. But at the end of it, I had a little moment of, you know what? It was cold out today. It was windy. You didn't have to go outside, but you said you would and you did. And now how do you feel? And I felt accomplished. I felt great. My lungs felt great. Cold air in your lungs feels great at a certain temperature. Sometimes it's like way too cold, but today was cold enough that it was an inconvenience and it was uncomfortable. Oh, but it still felt like I could take deep, beautiful breaths. Have those celebration moments, because now I can step back into that when I go out for my next cold walk that I don't want to do. It's another way to bring myself that joyous dopamine hit when it's, hey, remember how good it felt last time after you got it done. And I promise you, if you have some hard things on your list that you want to get done, celebrate. It's going to make them easier to do every time. You can do hard things. I believe in you. So this new year, new you, it is a great slogan, but instead of a new you, what if you loved what already is and want to enhance it even more? Continue to evolve what's already there. Choose to continue to grow into the best version of you. I said this in the beginning, but you, the individual. We already have some of someone else. The world needs you and your gifts. If you're into New Year's resolutions, and you don't even have to call it that, because let's be honest, those aren't that successful, because people are diving into this. Hey, it's a new year. I'm going to be a new me, and I'm going to do something so out of character for myself that it can't be consistent. It can't be sustainable. And all the things I just gave you. Decide this is your year to stop denying not only yourself, but the world, the best version of you. Your loved ones deserve the best version of you. The people you serve and who you plan to serve and choose to serve and want to serve in the future deserve your best self. They deserve what's best of you, not what is left of you. You guys have heard me say that a lot. Ask yourself, what if what is best for me is what is best for everyone else? Make this a year of diving into self-care. Find what really brings you joy and fulfillment. Discover for yourself this year how truly selfless self-care is. And that can look like anything. It can be any little thing. But use these tools I have given you to do that little thing well. Do it with consistency, sustainability. Make that hard thing as simple as possible. Make it something that is positive instead of trying to push yourself towards a negative emotion. All the things I gave you today can be applied to simple or big goals broken down. however you want to look at it. Now, oh, I lost my spot, but I knew where I was going anyways. This is the problem of actually looking at lists, is it distracts your flow, but I didn't want to miss any of it. Now, I just wanted to say nothing supports your motivation like belonging to a collective. It changes your quest from going it alone into a shared one, from a singular goal to a we. Book club, for example. Instead of you being a reader, I'm reading this book, it becomes we are reading this book together. Shared experiences help you to embody this. It helps create your identity in this aspect faster, and it's proven to help with success over time. And a lot of the things you heard me talk about today, I'm helping people apply, and I am applying myself to in a collective that we have created. Have you ever heard of 75 Hard? I'm asking like you can answer me. You can't answer me. I don't know. Have you heard of 75 Hard? If you haven't, I highly suggest looking it up. It is a program of dedication, of learning to keep promises to yourself, which is a really big aspect of growth. It sounds very simple, but it's one of the hardest things you can do. And what this program does is it teaches you how to do those hard things. Now, Andy Frisella came up with this, and he has his very specific things that you are to do. It's like 2 workouts a day, gallon of water, no alcohol, reading 10 pages of a book. So it's all really great things. But what we have done is we have created a space. It's a free Facebook group for 75 days of just aligned growth, of dedicated aligned growth. We want you to dedicate to 75 days worth of whatever your goals are. List mine, for example, are getting outside every day, making sure I am moving my body every day. I think I have 4 liters of water that I drink every day, but there's also specific readings I want to do. I highly recommend having a physical and mental growth goal for sure. And then something that is hydrating. I mean, you should have a hydration goal. It's the best. If you have lived in an dehydrated body and all of a sudden you're hydrated, it is very shifting for your health. And it can be one of those simple things that you can do in your day to make those big consistent changes over time. And you can easily set yourself up for success with that one. So it can be whatever you want, but I do encourage you, if you are going on this kind of growth journey, to make sure that something about it is challenging and gets you outside of your comfort zone so that you are forced to keep those promises to yourself. So now we've got a really good group going already. It doesn't matter when you start. This is a collective that we're going to just be supportive, give advice, celebrate each other, give each other a kick in the butt when we need to, and recommend books to each other that we've read that have been really growing, and just help each other out, because being a part of that collective is so valuable. You are absolutely the average of the people you are spending the most time with, who have the most influence over you. So if you have goals, get around people that also have goals, who want to see you win. And so this is just a free Facebook group we have started. And if that is something that interests you, we would love to have you. It's a great space. So I'd love to dedicate this episode to that space. I'm so grateful for all of you who have come and are doing this aligned growth challenge with us for the next 75 days. And I hope you listening do choose yourself this year. Do choose yourself and discover for yourself that self-care is selfless, and that you deserve to be full of joy and vibrancy and find whatever fulfills you. So happy New Year. As always, thanks for being here. And I'm excited to continue this journey of podcasting through the next year. Thank you so much for spending this last year here. I appreciate you.